Welcome to Funnels and Follow-Up. We're here.
We are here. And today on Funnels and Follow-Up, we are going to be speaking with Regina Bergman. She is the CEO of Bridgeport Strategy. She's a strategic marketing strategist. On Funnels and Follow-Up, we are going to be speaking with Regina Bergman. She is the CEO of Bridgeport Strategy. She's a strategic marketing strategist.
I don't know. Do you have it on Facebook?
Regina Bergman. CEO of Bridgeport Strategy. She's a strategic marketing strategist.
This is really weird.
I think I know what happened.
You have Facebook open.
No, worse than that. I had whatchamacallit open. YouTube. So we broadcast live on Facebook and on YouTube. And we
the new rule is don't keep those tabs open when you're broadcasting.
Don't keep those tabs open. I totally forgot. So let's start again, shall we?
Hi.
I'm Catherine Cohen.
And I'm Barry Cohen.
Lovely gentleman here beside me is Barry Cohen. This is Funnels and Follow-Ups. You guys know because you are listening to us live or on the podcast. And once again, today we have Regina Bergman, CEO of Bridgeport Strategy. She is a strategic marketing strategist, business growth specialist, public speaker, and international best-selling author of, and I love these two books. We got to ask Regina about this as soon as we pull her in. Bulletproof Your Marriage. Bulletproof Your Marriage. So it's all about business except your marriage, except when you're Barry and I and you work together. And she's the co-author of the best-selling series, The Better Business Book. There are 3 volumes.
Say that 3 times fast.
Better Business Book. She's also the co-author of 10 Secrets to Creating Profit Now. All in caps in your business. Generate cash flow quickly. As well as the author of the 45-minute business breakthroughs. How I find $10,000 in any business in 45 minutes. She's a serial entrepreneur. Co-founder, CEO, Bridgeport Strategies. You know what? After all this craziness, let's just bring Regina.
I agree.
Regina Bergman.
Hello, Regina.
Hello. I love listening to the two of you.
Don't you just love technology, especially when I
yeah. It's always fun. And it's always interesting, and you never know what's going to happen, right?
Absolutely.
Well, Catherine never knows what's going to happen because I open my mouth and you just don't know.
That's absolutely true. And Regina, your absolute passion, as is ours, is working with entrepreneurs to help them succeed and thrive while realizing their passion to make a difference in the world. So that's a pretty tall order for anyone. Especially somebody who's working with entrepreneurs. First and foremost, a book about business, a book about marriage. How the heck did that happen?
Well, the book about marriage came first, but actually that is what separates me in the marketplace, I believe, is that looking at the whole package. Yeah. I mean, you know that if a business is not doing well, it's putting a tremendous amount of strain on the marriage and on the family. Absolutely. And if, so I wrote the book back, it published first in February of 2016 on Bulletproof Your Marriage.
Okay.
And then, and I was just starting my coaching career at that time as well. But it's I was attempting to get more business men coming to a couples retreat that we had built out of the book. My husband and I created this couples retreat to help marriages along. And it was fabulous. We had a wonderful time with it, but it was really hard to get the men there. And I thought, okay, let's go at this from a different direction. Let's hit the business side first. Okay. And then we can bring in the marriage and balance that out.
Yeah, that actually makes perfect sense.
Exactly. So now we get that, we help them with their business. We get that know, like, and trust. We can open the door to family things a lot easier.
Yeah, typically with us, when we always say, because we will coach couples as well as solo entrepreneurs, but we typically will say, what happens in the bedroom? La, 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 la.
Not ours.
Yeah, exactly.
But we also make it perfectly clear, and you're absolutely right. If there's problems in the business, it will affect the marriage, especially if you do work together.
Right. And that's a generational impact.
Really?
Of course.
Well, I guess,
If you're,
yeah, it'll affect
yeah.
me,
If
the
your
kids.
children
Yeah.
are growing up in a dysfunctional home, what have
Right.
they learned and what are they going to go out and duplicate? If they've
Dysfunction.
grown up in a functional home, what have they learned and what are they going to go out and duplicate? So
Right.
it's an opportunity to make a generational impact as well.
Absolutely. You know, kids working with their parents, grandparents, that's how Barry and I were raised, and that's why we do what we do. So business, especially when you're an entrepreneur, not when you're the, CEO of a multinational, multi-billion dollar company, that affects your marriage as well in a totally different way. That's something different. But when it's your business and it's your responsibility,
right,
that's a different set of potential problems. So
it is indeed.
Right. So why do you have such a passion to help entrepreneurs?
Well, I think I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. I can remember, as a child, I was out working. I was either babysitting or cleaning houses or, helping others in other ways. I was doing door-to-door calls for March of Dimes, as a teenager. I was out doing those kinds of things.
And may I ask, were you a Girl Scout?
I was not.
Yeah, because we had to hump those cookies, man. We had to get that.
Hey, I'm the number one buyer of the cookies, so
So that's, for all you ladies out there, women out there that are listening to this, if you were a Girl Scout, that's what got you on the entrepreneurial track.
That's it. So as I've looked back over some of the things in my life, I see this pattern of always wanting to help others achieve their full potential. And that just bled into the coaching.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, it's like kind of looking in a mirror, because from the get-go, you basically were convinced that you were unemployable. Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, there you go. I was actually a pretty decent employee, but as soon as I got the opportunity to not be an employee, I took advantage of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I don't think I could ever go back to working for someone else. I just
no.
I don't take direction that well anymore.
near impossible. Being an entrepreneur for so long. We've been out of corporate America since '97, I think.
Yes,
right.
Like that.
So do the math. It's been a long time. I don't know how to take direction from anyone but Catherine anymore.
There you go.
This is true. The only person that you need to take direction from.
I'm not a fool.
And speaking of which, so why family and business? Why not just the business owner? Why not just the family? Now you touched on it a little bit.
On it. Yeah, they're both so important to me, but the family is really the most important. And thus I wrote my first book, Bulletproof Your Marriage. And it's just, oh gosh. Families are such a critical element for each of us. And they're such a struggle and under such attack. And so anything that I can do to help promote family, to help people have more successful families. And I see so many marriages, under attack. And my first husband and I had the pleasure of being interviewed by you guys on one of your other programs together 24/7.
24/7.
And that, yeah. And so I say my first husband, and that sounds really crazy when I'm talking about marriage, but my first husband passed away 44 years into our marriage. And I wanted, and it was a calling to write that book. It was a calling. And I started it before he passed away. In fact, I interviewed us, which was hilarious. Did the same interview with he and I as I did with everybody else that I interviewed for the book. And it was just hilarious. But yeah, it's just a passion to me to see families be successful and to give them every advantage that they can have. And so much of the failure of the marriage comes down to communication. Absolutely. And that's what the book deals with a lot, is communication throughout the various stages of the marriage. Yeah. And, of course, the failure rate is so high. And what really struck me when I was doing the research is how high the failure rate is for couples in the empty nest syndrome because they've let the marriage go all of those years. They haven't worked on the marriage, and now all the children are gone and there's nothing uniting them anymore. They've gone separate ways. Marriage is work. It's
Tell me
fun,
about it.
but it's work.
I know.
But you got to know how to work on it.
That's it.
And so that's why I wrote that book, is to give them tools, to give people tools to help. May I share a very funny story with you?
Absolutely. Share away.
I think it's hilarious at any rate. So my current husband and I, who is also a widower, I was widowed, he was a widower, and we met and we had a very short courtship. But on our very first date, I gave him a copy of the book. And I said, if you want to know more about who I am, I'm in the book. You know, there's a lot of me in this book. And like I said, short courtship, he hadn't read the book yet. We drove 4 hours to our wedding because we were going to the town where my daughter lived and get married there.
Right.
He hadn't read the book yet. I said, you know what? I have to live by the principles in this book. I wrote the book. I got to live by the principles. I read the book to him on the way to the wedding to make sure that he would live by the principles.
You were your own audible.com.
I was, and doggone it, I didn't record it. That would have been good, you know. So thankfully, because we, you know, years ago we interviewed you both. Thankfully,
right.
At the end of it all, he didn't go, well, wait a minute.
Turn around. Exactly.
We're done.
And you know, I'll tell you what, that book has been a lifesaver for us, the principles that we both committed to living, because we come from such varied backgrounds, years of marriage, each of us, you know, so we're bringing all of that into this new marriage, and knowing those principles of communication that are in there has really helped. When things get, you know, I mean, in every marriage, there's ups and downs, right? And there's tight spots and there's free flowing spots. But when those tight spots hit, it's much easier to communicate.
Catherine, I didn't read the book, but here's how I figured out it works. You just go, yes, dear.
Actually, no, Barry.
No. Works for me.
Not what we want to hear.
Nor does he do that. So, you know,
I know.
He do that. So,
but a lot of men believe that, and it's really not what we want to hear.
Yeah, exactly. And so now, you know, maybe one of you has your own business. Maybe both of you have your own, you know, each have your own business, or you have a business together, as Barry and I do. In a relationship, it may be a side business, it may be your full-time business. And yet so many businesses fail in this day and age, unfortunately, for very of different reasons. That will take a strain on the marriage. You've got that covered. But tell us a little bit about why businesses fail and how you help them to not fail.
Oh, I'd love to talk about that. One of the key reasons that businesses fail is that, you know, when as an entrepreneur, we go into business because typically we have what we consider is a great idea for a new product or service, or we're tired of working for someone else and figure that they're getting all the money. So we say, okay, I'm going to start my own business, but we don't do the research. We don't do the legwork. We operate off our guts. We don't have a background in how to run a business. We've been an employee.
Yeah.
So we walk into this not knowing what we don't know. And if you don't know what you don't know, how do you ask the question, or who do you ask the question of? So we have that lack of knowledge and no way to know what the gaps are. So what I provide is an opportunity for people to get all of those pieces that they need, all of that foundation to build a solid business. I fill in those don't know what you don't know. As I always say, that's where the alligators live, right? The alligators will take you out.
One of the comments that we haven't said it in a long time. We should go back to it because I liked it, where people got to a certain point in their business. They started up, had some bit of success, but they got there on adrenaline and dumb luck. And
Amen.
No idea how to go past that point.
That's right.
I was reading a statistic the other day, and I can't remember the exact numbers, but I believe it's something like 80% of the failures are due to a lack of cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so not only not understanding the foundational things about what they've got to do in that business and how to work on their business instead of in their business, but understanding the numbers and what the numbers mean.
Absolutely.
And then, yeah. And then being accountable. When we become an entrepreneur, we give up all accountability except to our banker when he says you don't have any money in your bank and you don't qualify for a loan, right?
Yeah.
And we've given up all accountability other than that, thinking I'm on my own, I'm proud, I can do this. And that lack of accountability can seal our fate.
And let's be clear to the people watching and listening, you cannot be accountable to your spouse.
No.
Period.
No.
Your spouse enables you. They do not.
Yeah. Whether you are, and this is it, and Regina, I don't know if you find this, if you and your husband find this, and I know Barry and I definitely find this, because people say to us, oh, well, what do you need a coach for? So we coach and we have a coach, as do, so many people. And well, what do you need a coach for? Well, accountability for one.
For one, absolutely.
Referee for another, but that's a whole different story. But accountability. Well, aren't you accountable to each other? Or we'll come in touch with couples who are in business that go, well, we don't need you. We're accountable to each other. No,
and here's how that works. I'm tired. I'm going to go take a nap. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's right.
We have a boat ton of stuff to do. We've missed 3 deadlines already, but I don't want to get into the fight with you. I don't want to look at your little boo-boo face going, and for those of you on the podcast, I made the little boo-boo face. So imagine what your spouse's boo-boo face is, and that's what mine was. But yeah, we cannot, as spouses, even as business partners, you can't hold each other accountable, because then you feel personally insulted by the other person, or personally insulted when the other person is insulted by what you said.
Right.
So absolutely.
And we don't know everything. No one knows everything. Somebody's got to fill in those blanks. And we have those blind spots in our business that we need an objective set of eyes to help us see those blind spots and to help us see how to maximize. Go ahead, Barry.
We need to tear down the ego also, because our business is our baby. And
exactly.
Nobody's going to criticize my baby.
Yeah.
But you need it. Yeah. You need somebody to go in there and say, no, if you do that, you will fail.
Yeah, exactly. And because we don't have those experiences, we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. And you've got to fill in those gaps, and a coach is the best way to do that.
Absolutely. And you have something that you refer to as the business GPS. What is that? Tell us what it is.
That is my little brainchild. Yes, I love business GPS. So think about a GPS for a moment. Right. A GPS gives you guidance, resources, and accountability. What does that look like? Well, it knows how to get from point A to point B that you don't, right?
Yes.
And it's going to tell you, here's your route you're going to take. Okay, so the first part is the guidance. It understands that. The resources. The guidance is it's going to say, you're going to go here, you're going to go there. Ultimately, you're going to get to your destination. And the accountability part is that it says, whoops, you missed your turn. Make a legal U-turn and go back, right? It's holding you accountable for that direction. So we do the same thing in our business. We provide resources for all of those things that they don't know about building a business. We provide guidance in the form of coaching, and we provide accountability. We hold their feet to the fire. When they make those commitments, we hold their hand, we kick them in the tush, whatever it takes to get them where they need to be. A loving kick in the tush, I will say.
That's the difference between you and Catherine. You would say tush. Catherine would not say tush.
And it would not be loving, but
it would not be loving. But that's, I love, to me, it's like a business GPS. It gives you resources, guidance, and accountability.
Perfect. It's exactly what you need in business.
Exactly.
It's exactly what you need. So what are, 5 critical things to work on in your business?
Okay. That's a great question. And there are really 5 things from my perspective that you need to work on your business. So there's a difference between working in your business, doing all the things that need to be done, and working on your business, actually creating a business. And so those 5 things for that business owner are lead generation. Nothing happens without a sale, right? So we've got lead generation. We've got lead conversion. We need to, it's not good enough just to have leads. They have to become sales.
Yes.
Improving your pricing, having so many entrepreneurs don't price their products effectively. And that's part of why they never make cash flow. They go out of business. It's a huge factor. Getting people to buy from you more often. And there are lots of strategies you can implement around that. And then the bottom line profit. Are you managing your costs? Are you managing your cost of goods sold? Are you looking at your numbers? Do you have any idea what your numbers are? And making sure that the maximum amount is dropping down to that bottom line profit.
Right. Yeah. Because, you look at the billing and you look at the collections and you say, hey, we did $20,000 this month. What happened to it? Where did it all go?
There's nothing in the bank.
That's right.
There's nothing in the bank. Yeah. I'm making money. I've sold X amount of dollars, but where did it go? And, I owned a staffing company for 12 and a half years. And we were doing between $4 and $5 million when we went out of business with the crash of 2008. Put me out of business in the spring of 2009.
Right.
And we certainly weren't getting $4 million to the bottom line.
No,
or anywhere near it.
To the bottom line, but
and so there's a lot that goes into that, getting that profit to the bottom line. In fact, I work with a program where we assess 13 different areas in the business to find more profit.
Which is huge. I love, Regina, I don't know if we're huge Shark Tank fans. And love that show. Another one is called The Profit. And my favorite part is this, when they go, well, tell us, how much did you do in sales last year? Well, last year was our best year ever. We did $4.5 million in sales. It was fabulous. Great. And, what was your profit? We lost $135,000. And that's good because the year before we did $3 million in sales and we lost $200,000. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, what is right? That's a company that needs a coach.
Yeah. Know your numbers. Yeah, that's the most important. You have to know your numbers.
Exactly.
So many of us, at least the clients that we work with, for the most part, they work from home office, just like Catherine and I do.
Right.
And you think, oh, there's no overhead.
There's no overhead.
Yeah.
But it's everything you do is an overhead.
Exactly.
You still have gas in your car when you have to go to the meetings. You still have a mortgage you got to pay on your house. You still have electric, telephone,
you have internet, and phones. Yeah, absolutely.
There's expenses.
That's right. Yeah. And remember, everyone out there, it doesn't matter if you made $1 million last year if you spent $1 million in one.
That's right.
That's
right. That was not a good year.
Not a good year.
And there are some serious things that you need to do in that business. And some of them can generate some cash flow, net profit fairly quickly and easily. And that's what we do. We assess with a very in-depth assessment in those 13 areas and looking at where's the fastest, greatest net profit we can generate in the business first. Let's get some bottom line money first.
Okay.
And usually that's going to come back to cost control and pricing. Those are two of the big areas that are going to impact that.
Do you find people are more overcharging or undercharging?
Under and discounting. And no idea of what their profit margin is. So they're just giving it, they're not just giving away their profit, they're dipping into the expense portion of that, right? They're going well beyond any profit earned because they don't understand how to price and they don't know their numbers or how to get to their numbers. And so that pricing strategy is critical. I mean, literally your pricing strategy can be the success or failure of your business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And do you find that more, I believe I know the answer to this.
We'll see if I know it.
Okay. Do you think that's more with people who are in the service industry or people who are in the
yes,
like products? Yeah. Yeah.
I think the service industry really struggles. However, I will say, I believe there's also some of that in the product industry,
Right.
in terms of particularly the smaller businesses. Let's say let's say Etsy owners, people who create crafts and things on Etsy, often no idea how to price for that, and I've been there. I understand that.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
We need strategies.
Especially, like, okay, so I have a squirrel on my desk. I love the squirrel on my desk. And for those of you who are watching the video, but, for those of you who are listening on the podcast, it's this cute little stuffed squirrel to remind me, to keep my attention focused.
I love it.
So let's say and so just think of any stuffed animal. And that's a great point, Regina, is when you say, okay, you're selling something on Etsy. It's a product that you've made. You know the cost of your materials.
Right. You should.
$10. You should. You should. Please, for the love of all that is holy. It took
know the cost of your materials.
Yeah, know the cost of your materials. It took $10, in materials to make this. And somebody may say, okay, well, what I'll do is I'll say it's going to cost, $30. I'm going to sell it for $30 because it only cost me $10 in materials. Well, how much time did it take you?
Right.
It took me, 10 hours.
Right. So your time, not only your time isn't even worth $20 because you haven't factored in all of your overhead yet.
Right.
You've only factored in materials.
Right. So now you're saying, okay, so in that $20 profit, and I'm using air quotes, you have allotted yourself a whopping $2 an hour as your income.
Yeah.
And can $20 can $20 pay for 10 hours of electricity and 10 hours of the mortgage payment and 10 hours of the electric, water payment. And so that's crucial.
To say nothing of scaling. You'll never scale.
Oh yeah. You cannot scale that business. That business is doomed.
It's going to be your hobby to pay for your materials, and that's it.
Yep. That's exactly right. Because it's never going to be profitable.
So this is what you do. You go in and you say, listen, do you hit them like we want to sometimes?
Right between the eyes?
Yeah.
No, but I do wake them up.
So, well, let me ask you this then. What resources are available for someone starting out or someone who has seen some success and has kind of hit that brick wall and it's not moving forward? What is available to them?
Well, we have several programs, that some free, some paid. So let me tell you about some of the free things first. One of the programs that I have a Facebook group called Entrepreneurial Leaders Making a Difference. And inside of that group, I do a boot camp called 5 Steps to Profit. It's a 5-day boot camp. And every day they're learning something and applying it to their business. Basic things like ideal client, market dominating position, things that are, really going to set them up for that success.
And I just put that link in the comments, by the way.
Awesome.
So on Facebook and
Thank
YouTube,
you so much.
In the comments. And before you go on there, somebody here who loves you a lot, apparently.
Oh, John. Hey, John. Thank you, John. John is an incredible young man in Uganda who's doing amazing work over there. I just love him.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
And I just want to say, because Regina, you said, you were talking about, starting out in business and some of these foundational practices. If you've been in business for a year, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, and things are not going well, go back to the foundational practices.
Absolutely.
Do these things.
Absolutely.
Then you get a ticket. If you were speeding or you rolled through that stop sign, or, whatever it is, you did not see the red light, whatever it was.
Right.
They don't just give you the ticket and you go off on your merry way. You go back for schooling, and you don't go back to, the Bondurant school of how to race around a racetrack. You don't go to Indy 500 race school. You go back to, this is a stop sign. When it's
basics.
Stop. You go to the basics. And
high school driver's ed.
High school driver's
there you go.
Every one of us needs to be doing that at
We
some
do.
point in our business.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, we need to get those basics. We need to look at your business. So what I've have out there right now is called 21 Day Profit Mastery. And it's a free series that every day they're getting content of how to develop more profit in their business.
Oh,
because I mean, that's one of the big reasons for the failure, no profit. So there's so many things that go into it. In terms of different strategies, I mean, there are really only three ways that, you've got to have clients, you can increase your pricing, you can, bundle things, there's a lot of strategies,
sure.
but there's only about three things that really make that are those strategies apply to. I'll put it that way. So
and
anyway,
I put that's in the comments as well as we're going through, just
you
so
are
you know,
awesome.
everything's going into the comments.
Right. Okay. Wonderful. I also have, for those who are just starting out, they haven't really quite figured out what it is they want to do, because I get people coming to me all the time say, I really want to do this business, but I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. So I have a program that's another free boot camp that's called Finding Your Purpose and Passion. It's a 5-day boot camp to help people really identify what excites them and how they can monetize that.
Absolutely.
That's pretty neat, because so many people want a business. They
Exactly.
want to have some sort of business. They have that itch,
right?
But they don't know what.
They don't know how. Yeah, they don't know what it is. So we sit down, we identify their purpose, their passion, and again, how to monetize that. And that kind of prepares them to come into the 5 Steps to Profit program, where they can now start to really implement that in a business now that they've figured out what that business is.
Right. And so, just because you do something, just because you are a blank doesn't mean you can't have a business.
Right.
It doesn't mean that's the business you should be in.
Right.
So that's huge. Every one of us has talents. Every one of us has a magic trick. Now, how do you make money from your magic trick?
Exactly. So we walk them through how to figure out that magic trick in that class.
I want to be able to coach a magician, just so that really works. Everyone has a magic trick.
Well, may I share with you the most interesting business that I've coached so far?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
He builds backyard roller coasters.
Wow.
I mean, it's the gamut, right? It's everything. Every kind of business needs help.
I just hope you coached him properly on getting the correct liability insurance.
Exactly. Number one thing we talked about.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh yeah. For everyone out there, get that insurance.
Especially if you're building roller coasters and people.
I sent him to insurance and legal first step. You got to go talk to those two things, then we can talk again.
Then we can talk. Then we can make money.
Yeah, then we can make money.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's so important. Something that there's so much, I think, Regina, that people miss in starting their business and building their business. What are some of the other things? So we kind of got off track a little bit, but we talked about insurance. We talked about getting some legal help. What are some of the other things that people miss in starting or just having a business, that it's like,
creating the business plan itself. That's, and again, there are a lot of organizations that can help with that. And there's a lot of stuff online about that, all of that, but not sitting down and doing that, not doing the planning, not creating the goals, not just really getting under the hood, if you will. There's so much that's under the hood that you've got to take a look at. And it comes back to that not knowing what they don't know. Yeah. And so having a coach who does know those things and can give them that guidance along the way becomes extremely important.
Yeah, I think the outside view also helps a lot.
Definitely.
Because I mean, like Kat said earlier, even coaches have coaches because we're so in the thick of it.
Yeah.
We can't see what's going on.
I certainly have them.
Yeah. You'll find the most successful people in the world have coaches.
Yeah.
Period.
Exactly.
Because you need that outside view,
Yeah.
somebody who's just looking at your business going, why are you doing it that way?
Right.
If you move this paper over here, you're going to be a lot more efficient.
And sometimes it's that simple, isn't it?
It really is.
And you just didn't see it. You just didn't see it.
Or they're in their own way. That's the other
Yeah,
thing that
yeah,
we find.
yeah.
People are just in their own way. Just let the business happen. You have everything. All the systems are laid out. Now let it
That's
happen.
a really good point. Yeah, I'm glad you brought the word systems in, because that answers one of Kat's last questions there. Is most small business owners haven't systemized their business. They don't know what systems to create or how to create them. And if you never get those systems in place, you're never going to have a business that can function without you, nor a business that you can sell.
Right.
You've got to have that net profit. You've got to have ongoing customers. You've got to have systems in place if you want to be able to sell your business. It blows me away that it's about 95% of businesses that call a broker about selling their business don't have an asset that they can sell. 95%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just blows me away. And it's like, okay, let's do something about that.
Yeah.
Let's get that fixed.
It just because there's cash flow doesn't mean everything's in order.
And so much of the time there's no cash flow.
That's the worst part. That's hard business to sell.
It is.
And if the cash flow is completely and absolutely dependent upon you,
you have nothing.
Can't sell it.
You can't sell it because they're not going to buy you.
Yeah. Then you're just working for somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. So
and that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. No, not for any of the three of us, right?
That's for sure.
Give us one thing off the top of your head that people should systematize, or a way for somebody to put something in that systematic order that would just be tremendous.
I mean, literally everything. So I mentioned that we work through 13 areas of the assessment.
Sure.
The bottom step of every implementation plan that we have is, what system and process are you going to put in place to achieve this? So whether that's leads, that's your USP, your scripts. People don't realize the value of scripts in your business to make it duplicatable, to make the not only the process, but the revenue duplicatable. You need scripts around everything. That's a process. You need to train your staff in that. There are things around personnel and HR that need to be systematized, about lead generation itself, about your marketing. I mean, literally every aspect of your business, about your cost cutting.
Yeah. I think scripts is a good one for people to very easily implement, because you don't want to go, hello, dear Mr. or Mrs. Cohen, how are you today? But you want every word written out that needs to be said, and then you want to break it down to bullet points so that it can be a trigger for somebody. So I think script, just that one thing, I think can make a huge.
Yeah, and I think when we say systems, a lot of people automatically think technology, and it doesn't necessarily have.
Doesn't have to be
part of it.
Yeah.
But
part of it is.
It's not the whole thing.
Right.
I think for people to get started with, correct me if I'm wrong, Regina, would the best thing be just start documenting everything you do?
Yes.
No matter how small.
Yeah. Then you can create something okay, this is how I did this. I'm working on learning a new technology right now. And it's like, okay, I've got to write down these steps because I'm forgetting where to go find something in it, just write down the steps.
Absolutely.
Write down everything you do.
Absolutely.
Spend a few days doing that, and you'll be well on your way to creating systems in your business. And
Regina, I know you've got another program that we didn't really touch on, which is called to go beyond six figures, or go beyond six figures. And tell us a little bit about that. And then we're going to have that on our website for everybody.
Awesome. So Go Beyond Six Figures is designed for the 6 or 7 figure business owner, but they're doing at least 6 figures in gross revenue, but not getting that bottom net revenue that they need. and not understanding how to accelerate their growth at this point. They feel like they've been successful because they hit that 6 figures.
Yeah.
But we know that it's not going to sustain them if they can't figure out how to get to the net revenue. So it's an 8-week intensive, individualized coaching program that sets them up so that over the course of the next year, they're going to hit 6 figures in net revenue.
That's
as long
huge.
as they're starting at least 6 in gross revenue.
Yeah. Okay. So understand this, everyone who's listening. You can make and it doesn't have to be, 6 figures, $600,000. Let's just say, yippee-yay, you got past that 5-figure ceiling that Barry and I talk about all the time, that so many business owners are in. And you get past that 5-figure ceiling and you had $125,000 year.
Right.
2 people could have $125,000 year. There is a freaking huge difference between having $125,000 year and getting a net $100,000 out of it.
Yeah.
Getting a net $25,000 out of it. What Regina is talking about in this program, and what we all need to strive for. First, you need to strive for, you got that ceiling, you hit that ceiling. Hey, I did a $10,000 month. Oh crap, I did a $2,000 month. Getting that consistency, getting beyond the ceiling and getting into the 6 figures. Now you go to Regina and she will say, okay, you made this. Congratulations.
Exactly.
Now let's keep it. Now, let's, when you pay Peter, Paul, and Mary, what you have left in your hand is still 6 figures.
Exactly.
And
so we're going to set them up over the course of that 8 weeks. We're going to set them up so that over the course of the year, they're going to hit that 6 figures. We're not going to hit it in 8 weeks. Okay. We're going to make some money for them in 8 weeks, but over the course of the 12 months, they're going to hit that. And we're going to be checking back with them once a month to make sure after that 8 weeks that they're on track. And then we do have some upsells into some coaching programs if they want some more hand-holding beyond that. But it's a powerful program. And like I said, we do an in-depth assessment in those 13 areas in their business and then lay out an implementation plan for each of those areas.
And I like how you're also managing the expectation. People can't go into an 8-week program if they're making $1,000 a month, expecting to be hitting $8,000-9,000 a month in 8 weeks. It just doesn't happen. If it does, great.
Right.
But odds are pretty good it's not going to. But you're now putting the systems in place. So within that year, they will be hitting those marks.
Exactly. And so the ROI is huge on this program for them. When we look at their investment in the program versus what they're going to get in that 12 months. And we're working on this program is actually for people who've hit at least 6 figures, and it's called Go Beyond 6 Figures. But we are working on a version of it for those who haven't hit 6 figures yet. We're testing that out at the moment, what promise we can make for them. So we're doing the work at the moment to test that out and see what we can promise them based on where they're coming in at below that 6 figures. So, but at the moment, it's Go Beyond 6 Figures. That's our flagship product at the moment.
All right. So we've all heard it. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. And we all think that only pertains to our taxes. It doesn't.
Yeah.
And Regina is here. She is the CEO of Bridgeport Strategy. We know her, love her. She's successful. It's not just about the business. It's about the family that surrounds the business, not your business family, but how is your business successful? How do you take that success and make sure that your family life is successful? Regina, any last ideas, thoughts you want for our audience?
Good question. Just success is possible if you have the right tools and the right mindset, the right resources. Success is possible. and that we don't have to be on that hamster wheel all the time until it just falls off and we lose our business because we didn't know what we didn't know to do. The answers are out there. You just have to get to the right place. I would be happy to visit with anybody who'd like to reach out, and we can do like a 15-minute laser coaching call about your business and talk to you about your business and what might be your next steps.
That is a great gift for our listening audience. Thank you so much for that generosity.
You are welcome.
How can they get in touch with you to do that?
Let me give you do you want my calendar link or just my email? They can just reach out to my email if you want.
Let's
have that.
Email. It's much
Let's
easier.
do that. Let's do that. Yeah, and then we can chat and set something up.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and stick that into the comments afterwards and into the show notes.
In the show notes. So absolutely see the show notes. Get with Regina. She is brilliant. She has resources and thoughts and ideas, and just and such a generous soul with all the things that we're going to be putting up there. That she's created and ways for you to just build your business. So Regina, thank you so much for being on our show.
It was such a pleasure to get with you guys again.
So much fun visiting with old friends.
Yes.
That's it.
All right. And with that, everybody, we'll see you on where are we going to see you? Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, blah, 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 everywhere.
Yeah,
we're plastered everywhere.
Sounds like it.
That's it.
We'll catch everyone on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.